So, dear participants, I welcome you all for the day one session two. The session is going to be handled by Mr. Muttapal Algudi, Senior Engineer, Factory Automation, Mitsubishi Electric India Private Limited. Our session two title is Requirements of Robots in Industry. And before starting the session, I would like to read his profile. Mr. Muttapal Algudi holds bachelor's degree Electrical and Electronics Engineering from VTU University. He started his career as an application and service engineer in Pune based machine manufacturing company. After 3.5 years, he moved across to automation domain with Mitsubishi Electric India Private Limited, Pune, for the past 5.5 years. Presently, he is working with Mitsubishi Electric India as Senior Engineer, Factory Automation Center, and he is responsible for FA products training, educational collaboration activity. So he is having more than 9 years of experience. So his area of expertise are PLC, servo, robotic, etc. Now I hand over the session to Mr. Muttappa, sir. Now the session is yours, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, good afternoon, all. It's applications requirements of robots in industry. Okay. So, screen is visible, sir.
1 minute, sir. I'll check it, sir.
Okay.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So, it is requirements of robots in industry. About the robot. So we listed different
So
robots.
sorry for the interruption, sir. Could you make it as a full screen, sir?
It's audible, no?
Yes, it is audible, sir. Could you please make it your screen as a full screen?
Okay. Yeah, just
Thank you, sir. Now it is
okay.
okay, sir.
Okay. To understand robots, it's not only few information like only requirements, what exactly the in the industry types, and I have also listed Mitsubishi robots also. Okay, so if you understand a robot in one platform to other platforms also. Okay, so we'll discuss about whatever all about the robots. Okay, so here scope of robotics we will see. So contents we will discuss introduction, different robots, advantages, applications, then structure, robot anatomy, robot terminology, then so vision camera. Okay, so a few information about vision camera also it is required most of the cases in robot applications. So introduction, what is robot? A robot is an autonomous machine capable of sensing its environment, carrying out computations to make decisions and performing actions in the real world. Okay, so it is a kind of machine. So it will sense its own positions. Okay, and it is programmable. Okay, and can be used in many different conditions. Okay, so that applications used by industry and other real world applications. Okay, it performs all the actions that we use for the application, maybe kind of pick and place applications. Okay, material handling applications, such especially like in industries. And different robots, here we will understand. So some robots which are used in aerospace, okay, so which are compatible for such kind of environments. So aerospace robots, then consumer type robots, right? Then military and security purpose, we use robots. Okay, so where human cannot go sometime. Okay, then drones also kind of robots. Okay, then research, in research applications also we use robots. Such robots are kind of different features and specification they are having. Then exoskeletons, like they can work with a human. Okay, for example, you can look at the picture here. So such kind of robots also there. Then humanoids, a kind of human kind of robots, right? They are used in many industries and household applications like hospitality and other things in hotels and okay, so most of the cases they are used with the humans. Okay, humanoids. Then comes robots used in the industry. uh, there are a lot of applications, lot of types. Okay, so where these kind of industrial robots are used for different kinds of works in the industry, they are used. There are majorly four types of industrial robots. Then if you come to the industrial robots, okay, so if we categorize industrial robots, there are articulated robots. In that there is a vertical also and horizontal. Horizontal robots are generally called as SCARA robots. Then second one is Cartesian robots. These robots use XYZ Cartesian forms, okay, or Cartesian joints for the movement, for the linear movement. So these are called as the Cartesian. Then there are robots like cylindrical type robots also there. So these operate within a cylindrical shape to work and log. Okay, so in industry, okay, so these are the. Then Delta. Delta is a kind of robot. It which is built from jointed parallelograms connected to a common base. These are major types, and you can see the same robots here. So this is a Cartesian. It uses X moment, okay, like this, and Y moment like this, and up and down. It's just Z format, X Y Z. So linear movement totally it will Cartesian. Then articulated robot, there is a vertical and horizontal also, which is installed on a horizontal base here. So this is, and whereas the horizontal robot is a it will move around a vertical stand. So this is a vertical base, okay, you can say, and around this it will move like this. So that is horizontal, also called as a SCARA robot. Horizontal robots are also called as SCARA robots. Then this is cylindrical robot. So it is provided with a cylindrical space for the movement. Okay, so here is a kind of arm here, so like this, left and right it will move, and it is also having a feature of moving up and down also. So this is cylindrical. Here this is a Delta robot. It looks like a spider. Okay, and programs they used for this purpose. Okay, so a lot of so this is a hand or the tool, you can say. So a lot of different applications they are used, they are done using delta robots. Okay. In most of the cases in industry, these type of robots they are used: vertical robots, horizontal, and delta. Most of the cases they are used. Then why we have to go for the robots? So, and what are the advantages of industrial robots? Here, so you can see there is a hazardous space sometime, okay, where human cannot enter for the working there. So in such locations, robot can easily work. So for that, we use hazardous one, okay, robots in hazardous work environments. Repetitive work cycle means a human can make some error. Okay, so every time if you say some person to take some part and to keep in another place, okay, so consistency or repetition, it will be not stable all the time. So but whereas the robot, if you use a repetitive work cycle, we will get, so every time it will do the same job what you are asking it to do it, so or whatever the program is done. Then consistency and accuracy. So definitely we will get accuracy, that what job you are telling, so the same job it will do, and with a precision and consistent performance robots will give. Difficult handling task for humans, maybe some kind of hazardous, like in temperature areas, whereas in chemical areas, or sometime it is very difficult to handle the job or the application. So for the humans in such multi-shift operations, a human can work maximum like one shift, so maybe for 8 hours. But whereas robot you can use 24 by 7, so with proper maintenance. Okay, maintenance is required, but in multiple shift operations, more than what human can work, they will work. So reprogrammable and flexible. So whatever the application, whatever kind of job you want to do, so we can do it. So programming is required. So if you are running one program, and you can reprogram it for other applications, okay, other job, and it is flexible also for the programming purpose, for the teaching purpose, right? So these are advantages we can get. Then interfaced to other computer systems also, like you can control your robot from some kind of human machine interface, kind of called HMIs. You can control your robot from computers also by interfacing or using some networking parts. You can control it from your PLCs also, that is programmable logical controls used in the industry. So we can control almost all the devices. Okay, using all the devices we can control the robots. Okay, so it is flexible in that case also. Okay, we can easily communicate to the robot for the controlling and status observation purpose. So these are all advantages where we can use robots. So make us to use robots. An application, this is important part, that is why we have to use we use robots in industry, or requirements, you can say. So industry, for example, automobile and machine shops, if you take, there are many applications. Okay, deburring and polishing applications, you can say. So programming is same always for the robot, so only the tool used, okay, and that make the application dependent. Okay, here there is a deburring or polishing tool is used. Okay, and at some or here it is a tool is used, and it is taking the job here, and it is using for the polishing purpose here. Such applications also we can do. Then appearance inspection. Let us say size or the dimension is important in our applications. So for testing its dimensions, its weight, okay, other purpose in with the use of you can say camera here. So there is a camera, okay, it is connected, it is inspecting all the devices, for example in this application here. Okay, such applications also for the appearance inspection purpose we can use. The next is alignment of molded or mold goods. So it is keeping in a proper position. So alignment of objects or a workpiece, it is happening here. So because robot gives the accuracy, robot gives the repeatability, accuracy, right? Or yeah, what you can say, consistency. So using such advantages, we can do alignment applications also for any kind of goods. And in the packaging industry, packing of it is keeping these processed parts in a box. So such operations can also be used uh, by applying the robot. And this is a sealing. So you can take the lot of packaging applications also, food packaging. So okay, there is a next option in next slide also for the food and beverage industries. Okay, there are sealing applications in different types you can take in the industries also. The sealing is also a common process here. Okay, you can seal any of your goods, right? So using some sealing material here, okay, robot will help to seal that part. Okay, here this is one part, and other part sealing is like applying sealants here. Sealant, there is a liquid, okay, so you can see here there is a sealant or liquid dispenser is there. So it is connected to the robot. Okay, it will equally distribute the liquid, and any part can be installed here and can be sealed here. So this is one. And in the food packaging industries, and next part it will come, okay, we can use the sealing applications also with the robots. Then assembly of automobile components, you can see here there is a automobile component part of engine. So engine is assembled by the robots. So this is programmed in such a way that it will pick the some parts which are available here, so around the robot, and it will assemble the parts. Okay, and it will give us accuracy and fast operations with that whatever requirement of precision. Then in the electrical and electronic industry, robot applications here. So same again, whatever the electronic or electrical parts, it will again inspect by the appearance for the by the looking. Okay, so using camera here, okay, 2D or 3D cameras we can use with the robots for the inspection of these parts. Then there are applications where screw tightening sometime, okay, screw fastening or tightening is required. So in such applications also the robots are used. Then other application like soldering, you heard about the soldering and welding. Again, such applications also these robots are used for any kind of electronic goods. Okay, maybe soldering is required. In that case, the robot will handle such applications. It needs to be programmed in that way. Laser marking also, okay, whenever you want to do some cutting operations, okay, so in that case laser marking or cutting is required. So laser tool is connected to the robot arm in that case. Okay, here this tool is connected, so it will mark using this tool, and robot will help to carry that tool, and it is programmed for such applications. And sealing is also, so okay, in electronic goods also sealing is required in this case also. Mounting of parts. Okay, so this is electronic board, you can say. Okay, so it will take the parts and it will mount. So where it is programmed for that. Then if you take the food products applications here, packaging, as I mentioned in previous slide also. So packaging is also very important. Important industry type here. Okay, so let us say why it is important, I am telling. So daily based goods, if you take, okay, from morning to the evening, so all you can use is like food products or whatever the packaging liquids we use, and water, you can say water bottles. So all these products, they have to be packed, and precision is also required. If you take a water bottle, okay, if you test 100 water bottles of 1 liter, so you will not get any difference. So the content will be 1 liter. How it is achieved? So it is achieved with the robots only, because so whatever the moment, whatever the liquid you want to pour into the bottle, so that much precise quantity it will pour and it will pack. Okay, this is one application. Okay, so it is bottle, it is keeping in the box, right, and it is making the packing applications here. Then labeling also. So you can see again the water bottle, you can see any kind of goods like food packaging goods also, let's say chips packets also, there is a labeling on that. So that labeling is also made using robot here. Okay. And label check also, whether labeling is done or not. It's again inspection application here. So again, you so with the help of camera, it will do the label of parts to a medicine analyzer. Okay, so it's a kind of medical industry here, medical type or the machine, you can say. So it is loading and unloading the parts after analysis by the machine. Such applications. Then sorting applications also. So I'll show you some videos on this also. So based on the color, based on the dimension. Okay, so if you mixed your any of the goods and parts, so it will sort them depending on the size, dimensions. Okay, with the help of again camera here. Loading unloading process for a filler applications. So filler application, it's a kind of liquid filling, or as I mentioned, kind of water filling also, right? So it's the same application again. So only here the part will change. That is a gripper, you can call it as, or uh, actuator, you can call it as. So that part will change, but robot applications and programmings are almost similar in loading and unloading or the filling process. Okay, this is just one example for the sorting, as I mentioned. And just have a look. There is no audio for this. Okay, so what it is doing, it is sorting the parts here, and exactly it is keeping it desired positions. Okay, so if you keep or if you mix the different parts, also it is categorizing or it is sorting the different uh, parts here. Okay, this is kind of line tracking application, it is called as. I hope the video is visible. Okay, maybe some lagging if it is there in the network. So such applications are done in the industry in most of the applications. This is kind of a pick and place applications where line uh, tracking is required as well. Then there is an application oil seal assembly here. Okay, so there is a mechanical or assembly part here. So it is keeping some oil seals here. Okay, so assembly it is doing. You can have a look. So this is a part here, right? And there is a oil seal is applied here. So first it will apply the sealant. Okay, and screw application is also doing. You can see screw tightening is also it is doing. So this is a vertical robot. It's doing a oil seal assembly here, right? Then there is application screw assembly, screw tightening, or here there is a part here it has to tight some screws. So it depends on there is a torque required. Okay, you heard about the torque. Here how much torque is required to tight that screw. So it is sensed by the force sensor. Here it is applied with the robot, and then it will take screw and it will tight as per the torque mentioned. You can see it is taking screws over there and it is tightening there or fastening the screws. So these are the applications. Then so we have to understand how exactly in industry the robots are used. Not only a single robot is directly applied, so it is used with all other factory automation products and components, you can say. So here this is a kind of one configuration you can take, you can say, or you can say this is one structure, or you can say a machine assembly test. So generally there is a PLC, this is programmable logical controller. Okay, PLC it is. And robot, not only robot is used with that, there is always a controller for, or the master, where you have to give the commands, that is programmable things we do. So with the controller, so it will control, it will supply the signals, it will supply the power to the robot arm. It is, this is R and this is controller. And there is an HMI panel also. I uh, so as you know, I mean, I think you have idea of this HMI also. Okay, so why HMI is used in industry? Okay, every time we want to give some inputs to the PLC or to the robots or to other devices, so we can input through the HMI. So if you want to correlate this one, it is exactly where your in ATM machines, you give the inputs like amount required, okay, and password and other things. So such inputs we are giving to the industrial PLC here using HMI. And there are network products also, CC-Link, CC-Link I, these are Mitsubishi protocols. Okay, so generally you heard about Ethernet, you heard about the serial internet, network parts. So okay, here CC-Link and CC-Link I field based on some Ethernet, some are serial. So we use in industry for communication, to establish the communication between different products, factory automation products. Here there is a PLC, one more PLC, and we are building the communication between this one through the CC-Link I network. Here there is one more PLC. Okay, and it is master of some safety products. Here there is a emergency safety and there is a safety motor also, safety contactor likewise. And there is a force sensor. I mentioned the application of force sensor also, like whenever you want to do the screw fastening applications, in that case, so this is required, and its input directly goes to the controller, and through the controller it will give the command to the robot. And there are servo, of course servos also used in most of the cases for these applications. And inside the robot also there are servo system only. inside robot also there is servo system. So this is complete structure, and I'm an example of robots with other factory automation products. Then safety is also important here. I think safety. Uh, so one more point is also there. Okay, so why safety is important? Safety not only for the robot, safety in industry it is very important, because there are a lot of people, they are working individually towards their job there. But if any machine, or if any robot, or any application or machines, if they are not working properly, I mean they are not doing their job correctly, so then that will lead to some accidents. Okay, if it is not following the proper programmed path, so that is again creates hazards or errors it will create, then it will leads to an accident. That's why safety is important. From the equipment point of view, it will save accidents, and it will save the cost on the equipment or the machine or the robot. Okay, and it will save the operators and other humans which are working there. Okay, so it will so accidents should be avoided, and for that we should use the safety. So the operator operation area and robot operation area are separated each other with a monitoring plane of for safety. So in robots also we can set some safety planes, and we can use some safety curtains also, safety devices also, to make robot operation area separate, and operator who is operating the robot, who is working with the robot. Okay, so we can separate both the areas, and operator and the robot access the shared operation area alternately, so allowing for cooperative or so the collaborative operation you can call it as. And for this one it will be they are developed. Okay, so such robots also called as cobots, also we call it as. And here any industrial robots also they are so they should work with the human also, but safety should be followed. So area sensor secure the safety without fence also provided, where a robot will limitations are followed, so that human cannot enter where the robot is working. So generally robot will not come and make accidents. Okay, so it whatever the hazards, errors, accidents happen whenever the human is involved in some actions with the robot. That may be during the robot programming, maybe during the installation. Okay, or if the power supply and other things they supplied uncontrollably, so in that case only, so robot can cause some accidents. So safety we should follow. For the safety, I have a few more information I have added. I'll just give information in next slides. So then comes, this is general information we discussed about the robots or the robotics. So now Mitsubishi robots also there. Okay, right. Mitsubishi robots types and how we are categorizing them. So that is that also we need to understand. So like there is a models, separate different models are available. Like RV2 FR is there, to FRL is there, RV7, right, 13 and 20. You will understand if you read its nomenclature or the model name, then you will understand why it is written like this. Okay, so it means here the two for what purpose 2 is written, I'm going to tell you. So 2 is for its payload. Payload is nothing but the amount of weight it can carry, the robot can carry. So it is 3 kg here. 4 means 4 kg, 7 kg, and 13 is 13 kg and 20 kg likewise. And So this is payload or the weight or maximum load capacity. Then there is one more term that is maximum radius. Maximum radius is what? This is robot base. Okay, so when you stretch the robot this way, complete and top like this, so that is maximum reach where robot can touch or robot can move there. Okay, so that is standard for each model we can get, right? Whatever model we take, so it depends on our product selection here. So in that also there is a standard model. For example, 2F. So it means L indicates here more lengthy arm here. Standard is 504 millimeter. And if you take to FRL, for example, okay, this is only for information, 649 millimeters. So like that. So in the 7 kgs also we have different models. In 4 kgs also, 13 also it's available likewise. Okay, this is vertical type robots. You can see the structure. If you look at the robot, so it is a vertical type robot. It is. Yeah, this is if you take RV4FR, RV4FRL, and with that there is a complete name also. For example, so if this is the code and how we can understand or how we have to read it. So RV here it indicates the vertical. Okay, it indicates vertical multi-joint arm. So robot is vertical type. It indicates here. The next part is the payload. Here it is. Payload means I already mentioned 4 kg, 7 kg. The number what is mentioned, it is indicates the its maximum load carrying capacity. The next is here. FR is a series again. Okay, so there is F series and FR series in Mitsubishi. Okay, and J here indicates axis configuration. In standard case, J will not be there. Standard means it is having 6 joints or 6 axes in the robot. Always vertical means 6 axes. Okay, for easy understanding, vertical means always 6 axes. But there are some robots also. In that case, 5 axis type robots also available. So if you want to have 5 axis, it is indicated with J. Okay, then L. So L means it indicates the arm length here. There is a standard arm length. In that case, L is not there. And if L is mentioned, or sometime double L also, it is more lengthier arm than the standard. Standard means blank will be there. If you want to take more lengthier arm, L or double L, it is there. Next, this part indicates environmental specifications. If O is mentioned here, okay, in the nomenclature, so it indicates the oil mist specifications and it is provided with the industrial protection of 67. In room specifications, that is ISO safety class 3. So it provides. Okay, it depends if you are using standard environments, robot is working there. So it is not required. So wherever the oily working space is there, and where you need clean room specifications are applied, so in that case we can use this one. Then I already mentioned robot means there is a robot arm and there is a controller also to control that robot. So here this part indicates the controller type. In controller also there are different types. One is standalone and another one is Melsec IQR. So I'll explain this part in next this one. So only for your information, that is a short information I have. Okay, but in controller standalone and Melsec IQR type, there are 2 types of controls are there. Then other specifications, if you want to have what all there. So internally it is having some wiring also, robot. So and piping also, because if you want to use some gripper with the pneumatic applications or with the air, so in that case piping specification how you want to use it. So externally or internally, or user want to create it, or you want it from the manufacturer. So that is special indications it is having, and other special models also available. Okay, so that indicates here you can see the last part. If sh01 is written, this is the meaning. So likewise up to sh05 is there. So what indicates there is a hand input. Hand input means there are some sensors are used, proximity switches. Okay, if there is a material or not, if a gripper, you want to understand it, there are some hand inputs are used. So it's wiring and piping, you can say it's dimensions it is. So such thing, and in some cases piping is not available. With that specifications we can get these wiring and piping types here. I mean, it's condition we can get. So that is also again selectable. We can while robot purchasing or the model selection time, we can do that. Yeah, I mentioned again about the controller, right? So this is controller model. So every model is having I mean, every product in the robot also, robot arm is having some nomenclature, robot controller is also having some nomenclature. You can see these are the controller, and this is robot arm. Sorry, this is robot arm, and this is controller used with this one. So in the last, always D is mentioned. For your only simple information, last D is mentioned. It means it is a standalone type robot arm, and with that last D is mentioned here. CR800D standalone controller is used. Okay, so that much. D means it has to match standalone arm and standalone controller. It should match. So other specifications also there. Okay, when you go in depth, so we'll understand. And the R is mentioned means controller type is Melsec IQR. What is Melsec IQR? Melsec IQR, for your information, Melsec IQR is a PLC type in Mitsubishi. So with robot controller, there is a PLC is also used. In that case, R is mentioned at the last for the R, and for the controller also in the last R is mentioned. So R means it is Melsec IQR type. It is going a little bit deep, but only for the information. Robot means not only the robot, it is having all those other parts also. Okay, so what is that? This is a cable. It will support the it will be connected using controller and robot arm in between. So it will give the power supply to this robot arm, and from the robot arm, as I mentioned, there are servos also inside the robot. From there, there are some encoders. I mean, in the servos, it will get the signals also, and it will give it to the robot controller. Okay, so for your information, there is a robot arm, and it is having some machine cable, and with that, as I mentioned, if you want to use any pneumatic applications, right, there should be some solenoid banks which supplies which does the open and closing for air in and air out, right? So this is all part for the air in and air out. So here this is robot model is different. Here it is 2FR and it is 4FR, 7FR likewise, based on its load capacity. The components are dimensions and types are changed, but the same components they are used. Okay, then again the basic parts, we have to understand the anatomy also. So why there are vertical type robots, why there are horizontal type robots, and how exactly we call horizontal, vertical, delta. Okay, so it is based on its anatomy and it's based on its structure. Okay, and number of axes used, as I mentioned. So in the picture, what you can see, it is a vertical robot first thing, and that is indicated using RV in the. And in general, all these vertical robots are having 6 axes or 6 joints, you can call it as. So not only Mitsubishi, it is common information. Vertical robot, 6 axes means. So where are these 6 axes? This is joint one or axis one, you can call it as. So whole body will move like this on this vertical pedestal here. It is. This is joint 1, and there is a joint 2 or axis 2 here. It will move up and down. Same is here, axis 3 it is. It will also move up and down. And this is J4 or joint 4 or axis 4 it is. So this will move clockwise, anti-clockwise like this. And up and down, joint 5 again here. And there is joint 6 where your gripper or any pneumatic device or the parts, moving parts, we should connect here. It is 6th joint. It will move clockwise, anti-clockwise, right? So for your information, it consists of joints and links. Okay, so what are joints? Joints provide relative motion. Okay, joint provide, this is joint, you can say, and this is joint. Links are rigid members between joints. This is link. Okay, this is link, and here it is link. So these are rigid members between joints. It means to connect these joints, there are links used. Each joint provides a degree of freedom. What is degree of freedom? Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, it's audible, I think. Fine. Okay, degree of freedom means there are 6 joints or axes I mentioned. So each joint will move independently, okay, irrespective of other movement. So other joint is moving or not, it is stopped. So anything. So it will move independently. So that is what degree of freedom. So 6 degrees of freedom or 6 axis joint. 6 axis means 6 degrees of freedom they are available. Then robot consists of 2 sections always. One is body and arm. Okay, so this is complete body and this is arm, you can say. Then there is a wrist assembly. Wrist assembly means where we connect our workpiece here. Workpiece means gripper or any job here to hold the work or job here to hold, right? So here we are using some objects or tools here. So that is wrist assembly. So these robots are generally they are used in applications like material handling, painting application. We have seen a lot of applications in the beginning only, right? So such applications like painting also we use, welding, sealing, these are used. And robot anatomy, the 6 axis or the 6 joint robot will move like horizontally like this. So complete if you stretch this, and backward also this, and vertically also. So whatever the movement, a maximum movement a robot can do is called as workspace. It is. This is workspace. This is all what we discussed for vertical robots. Now likewise we have horizontal robots also, and this robot is also called as SCARA type. Okay, SCARA robot. So it is selective compliance articulated robot arm. SCARA means, right? This is also series, FR series. Only quickly, so we already got what it indicates here. With this model, first thing in number is there, it is a payload or it is a load capacity of that robot, and FRH is the series. And there is one more term here. So it is provided with 2 terms. One is, I can say, just a minute, from here to here. So whatever the distance we are having, this distance, okay, so that is your maximum reach it is. And what is Z stroke? This Z stroke it is. So this part, vertical part, it will move up and down. So that is called as Z stroke. So it is required to hold the object, to pick the object and to keep the object in desired position or the spot. So this is horizontal type robot. 3 kg is there, 6 kg, 12 kg, and 20 kg is also there. And you can see this is one different type of robot model in horizontal only. So horizontal means, so this is its base, okay, and this is vertical, okay, pedestal or stand, you can say. About this stand, it is moving like this, okay, clockwise, anti-clockwise. And if you don't have any space where your assembly or where your robot job is going on, work is going on, so in that case, ceiling, to the ceiling you can mount the horizontal robot also. So this is ceiling type it is, okay. So this is ceiling type. Then generally the SCARA robot or horizontal robot, they have 4 axes only, okay, 4 axes. Where are 4 axes? This is one joint. So using this joint, it will move like this, clockwise, anti-clockwise. And the next part is here, okay. This part will move like this, clockwise, anti-clockwise. This is joint 1, this is joint 2, and joint 3 is this spindle or this part. So there are two things here. The spindle will move up and down, and this spindle will move clockwise, anti-clockwise also. You can see this is joint 4, okay. So generally SCARA robots having 4 axes or 4 joints. So this is also most of the cases it is used in the material handling, assembly, loading, unloading applications. And this robot anatomy, you can see this is workspace, the maximum, round how much it will move like this, and up and down. So generally up and down, so this spindle only it will move. So not like vertical, it will not move. So any kind of movements. So that is why generally in 3D space, if you want to do any kind of applications, jobs, so vertical type robots is more convenient than horizontal. So for this one, if you have any object pick and place application, like from material handling, okay, so like from you want to pick from here and keep here, okay, so like that applications are very compatible with the SCARA robots or 4-axis robots. I already mentioned about the controller. Okay, there is a standalone type controller and there is a PLC type, that is Melsec IQR type. Okay, so about the controller only. Okay, so you can have a look. FR series means in Mitsubishi, FR is the latest robot series, and before that F series is there. With the FR series, controller used is CR800. It's a model name. Okay. CR800 R type means with that PLC is provided. Okay, Melsec R type PLC is provided. CR800Q is there. In both cases, you can see there is a extra part. It is, this is a PLC actually. Okay, this is PLC. This is used with a Q series, and this is used with the IQR series. IQR and Q series, what are these? These are the PLC types in Mitsubishi. So first is QPLC, and after that latest series and advanced series is IQR series. Okay, so in both these models PLC is used, and this is standalone. It is, so only robot controller and robot arm it will be there. Okay, this is about the controller. The next is, so generally robots are need to be teach. Okay, they need to be teach. It means, what is teaching? Teaching is like you want some place, you want a robot to go some place. Okay, so how we want to move it? So there is a teaching box, so it will move in a Cartesian formats, xyz movement. Robot completely, whole robot will move in that direction, and otherwise each joint in movement, the types of movements are there. Okay, and this operation is called as jogging operation. So using jogging operation, or doing jogging, okay, so using this teach pendant, okay, so we can save the positions where you want to go using the robot. So multiple positions we can move the robot, and we can store those positions, and we can create the application or programs. Okay, so that part I'm going to tell you in next session. Okay, that is the programming part, how we can handle the software, right? So that is there. And to do that, before right, before programming, we have to store the positions. We have to move the robot using this teaching pendant. This is also teaching pendant only. So what is the difference? Here this is a LCD panel it is, and it is having some keys over here, right? It is having some keys here. This is, and whereas is this one, so it is touch screen. It is higher end teaching pendant. It is having some buttons also. These are used for the robot jogging operation, and it is having emergency. Here also emergencies are. Emergency means whenever you want to give as the word indicates, emergency. So in that case, we can stop robot immediately, right? So for operating robot, there is a teaching pendant or teaching box is used. Then if you in general about the robot, how robot work, how robot move, and what exactly they use. Okay, so that movement is used, okay, by the coordinate system inside. It's a robot coordinate system. Okay, as you already having information on that. So same coordinate systems robot also use here. So a coordinate system defines a plane or a space by axis from a fixed point called the origin. So now the term is called origin. This is having a bigger meaning. Origin is what? A home position. For example, it is not exactly the home. If you operate the robot, you will understand the difference between homing position and origin. So origin is what? When you get the new robot to your shop floor. Okay, so it is not set with its origin means what are its limits, till what degree each joints can move. Okay, so that setting we have to do, or from what is its start position or origin position, from where to where it has to move. So that is called as origin. So it is having some different methods also. Origin setting is a one method we have to do it for the new robots, and whenever it loses its origin settings also. So in what conditions it generally happens? It is having some batteries. So if batteries voltage level goes down beyond the permissible level, so in that case we have to do origin settings. Okay. So it is a plane. Okay, coordinate system is a plane or a space by axis from a fixed point, that is called as origin. So robot targets and positions are located by measurements along the axis of coordinate systems, right? So as I mentioned, if you want to move the robot using teaching pendant or using PLC or using PC also from the directly using software, so it moves in these different methods, or it uses in these different coordinates. One is joint coordinate. It is individual joints, it will move J1, J2, whatever it is, they independently they will move. Then word coordinates, as you know, word coordinates are X, Y, and Z. Your whole robot will move in X direction. If you want to move X plus or X minus, complete robot will move in. So this is called as interpolation. Okay. So what is interpolation? The complete, there are 6 axes. All together they will move in X direction, Y direction, and Z direction. That is word coordinates. Tool coordinate means, so for the word coordinates, so I'll show you in the, next, there is an image. With that image, I can explain this one. So what is the difference between word and tool coordinate? So both are same now, as of now. So they use X, Y, Z. Then user coordinate. So the user or the operator, I can set any direction. If I want to change X to Y or Y to Z, so that I can make. So that is user defined coordinates. This is joint coordinates. As I mentioned, independently there are 6 axes or joints. Independently they will move irrespective of other axis movement or position. This is word coordinate system. So what is that? It uses Cartesian coordinates x, y, z. So for example, this is x, this is y, and this is z. So what happens if you want to move x plus direction? So complete robot will move in this direction. For example, this. Okay, x minus this direction. Y, this way complete robot will move. In this one, J1, J2, all whatever the axis it has to be used. Okay, all these axes or the joints together they will make a moment. Okay, that is world coordinates. And world coordinate means this is base. From the base it will take the reference always x, y, and z. Whereas in tool coordinate system, this tool coordinate, it is again uses x, y, z only, but the reference is not from its base, robot base. It's from the tool. Tool is what? Any gripper, as I mentioned, any gripper or any pick and place tool to hold the object we are using. This tool is connected on J6 axis. So with respect to this tool or with respect to its direction, x, y, z direction, it will make the movement. So tool, in reference of tool only it will move. So this is tool coordinate. Again it uses x, y, z also, z only. So user coordinates, as I mentioned, I can see this is generally said. If I want to make it x or y, I can make it. So that's why user defined coordinates. So these are the coordinate systems or the moving methods used in the robot. It is generally in general, not only Mitsubishi. So every system uses this one. Then there are some robot general terminologies we need to understand. So reach is what, as I mentioned, there is a arm length also I told. So L, double L, so we heard that, right? So reach means the maximum horizontal distance from the center of the robot base to the end of its wrist. Okay, end of its wrist, it will move, right? So end of the wrist means for exactly from here. This is the center. From this center, if you stretch the robot like this, okay, till this end. So from this end to this end, it is the reach. It is called as. Then maximum speed, as you know, it is not only it is not having a fixed speed, because there are some servo motors as I mentioned here. So there is a heavy motor and here it is a small motor and smaller here, and they are having different speeds in the motor. So your robot maximum speed is cumulative speed, or speed including all those other axis or joint speed, right? And at the full speed, the maximum speed is the theoretical values which doesn't considered under loading conditions. Okay, this is ideal. If you consider the load, the speed will reduce definitely, because it should create accuracy also, right? It has to properly pick the part and it has to place at a desired position. That should happen properly. So at that speed where you are getting accuracy, maximum speed, if you are able to operate, that is called as maximum speed. It's a cumulative speed. Payload is simply, as I mentioned, 4. 4 means that robot is capable of having 4 kg load, carrying 4 kg load. So that includes ideal 4 kg it is. But if you connect any tool or a gripper, any other device to the robot, and also your workpiece, so including that also it is 4 kg, for example. Okay, that will be the maximum payload. Accuracy, as I already mentioned, while while carrying maximum payload, its payload, and while having maximum speed, it should produce a proper accuracy means correct position. For example, accuracy means correct positions where you want to go. So robot should reach that position properly with high speed and by carrying its maximum load. So this is called as accuracy. And the same accuracy every cycle, repeatability, right? So every time it is doing the same, it is called as repeatability. Right? Then there is a resolution also. Resolution, for your understanding, I'll tell you one simple thing. Let us say you want to move a robot from one position to other position. What is the distance? A small distance, a smallest distance it can move. So let us say 1 millimeter or 5 millimeter. Only it is able to move. So that is the resolution. Smallest position or the motion it can do, movement it can do. So that is called as resolution. So we understood already degree of freedom. So each joint, okay, independently they are moving, it is degree of freedom. So envelope means whatever the robot working area is there, that is called as envelope. So that is a three-dimensional shape or area. Then in while understanding a lot of applications, we mentioned about the vision cameras we mentioned. Okay, so cameras are very important if you want to achieve that accuracy, if you want to achieve that precision. Okay, if you want to achieve that maximum speed with the robot applications, cameras are most of the times they are used. In general, in the camera also, right? So there are 2D cameras and 3D cameras. Okay, so why it is used? So backend image processing hardware and software, right? The camera at the front end captures images from environment or from a focused object and then sends them to a processing system. Depending on the design or need of MVS, the captured images are either stored or processed accordingly. Right, so it will take the image and it will send to a robot controller or a PLC separately. So it will process there and it will give the command to the robot what it has to do. So 2D cameras are there and 3D cameras. 2D vision system, the target object image acquired for processing is effectively a flat two-dimensional plane view, for example, like this. So it uses X, Y, Z. It uses X and Y. So Z is not there, okay, as it is 2D only. So whereas in 3D, so it uses every position. So it uses precise coordinates where the position of every pixel in space is now. So here each pixel is understood. So it provides X, Y as well as Z plane movement for the object or work X, Y, Z dimensions it will read and it will provide for the processor. So this is used, for example, one application if you want to tell. Let us say there is a capsule manufacturing machine where robot is used, right? Capsule means what we consume the caps, medicine you can say. So what is there? They are in milligrams it is. So for example, we call it as 100 mg, 500 mg. So that much accuracy is achieved. So that much content only robot will drop. Is used in that case. And with that, if you want to check in one tablet or in one capsule, there are 10 tablets, for example. If it is produced properly, the weight is correct or the quantity or the number is correct in that capsule if you want to understand. So you can use camera in that case. Okay, so immediately it will scan whatever the capsules present in that and it will give the command for the next processing. It means if it is okay, so it will pass to the next step. If it is not okay, so it will discard that product. So like that, cameras are applied with the robot. So there are different vision cameras also. Okay, if you take the 2D sensor, these are also called as sensors. Okay, in easy meaning with the industry in industry. So these are called as vision sensors. So VSAT 70 and 20 likewise models are there. In that also different models we can use based on our requirement. And 3D dimensions, if you want to get 3D cameras we can use, that is 4F 3D VS2 PKC3, such models are available for 3D operations. Okay, so we can use these cameras with the robot. Then application of vision system, exactly I mentioned. Okay, for example, you can see in this application here, vision cameras detect workpiece on conveyor, for example, right? So conveyor is going on and workpiece they are dropped here. So vision sensor or the camera, it will find these workpieces or the parts. So workpieces are transported and aligned by robots without stopping conveyor. Okay, so it will not stop to pick this workpiece. So while going only, so robot it will come and pick this one. So how robot will understand there is a part? With the help of camera here in this case. So as I mentioned, robot safety is also important. We have seen some safety points in earlier slide also. So safety is very important in all industrial, whenever you work in industry. So that is very important. Okay. So when robot right do accidents, most accidents with robots occur during programming, maintenance whenever we do, okay, annual maintenance, monthly maintenance for the robot. Then when you do the repairing work, when you do the setup and testing, where all of which involve human interaction. Okay, so whenever there is human, then only it will do the accidents. Okay, in these conditions. So what are the causes for that? So one is lack of employee training. If you are not trained for that, if you are not aware about how robot will work, what is its current condition, so in that case, okay, if that human goes and do operations, any operations, so these operations with the robot, so there is a chance of accidents. Then improper use of safety guards. So that is why safety is very important. So there is always safety guards, safety limits, which is safety mats, everything, right? The safety things we should apply first, and then we can operate the robot. Okay, so in nowadays in industries, such safety methods are used. So what are those? There are safety guards also. Okay, so this safety method like this. Here human will not go, so robot will work only. And you can see the point of operating safety guards. So where robot is working and where the human is working. Okay, so this is a door, for example. When you close it, then only it will work. Or there is IR sensors here. So when these signals are crossed, then robot will stop. And there are end effectors also used for the robots, and some safety enclosed areas also here they are used. So whenever it is closed only, then robot will work. So robot access position verification. Okay, its position also we can change. Sometime if it is doing malfunction also, then we can verify its position and we can do the next operations. So safety is important with robot and other industrial machines. Then, so this is all the information we got, and now how we have to do the programming for that, and what is the software we have to use. So you can see in general all those robots having software, different softwares. Okay, so in likewise Mitsubishi, in Mitsubishi we have RT Toolbox 3. So this software is used to read the robot positions, to create sequences, motions, and to create finally the program, and that program can be loaded. Okay, and you can run the robot. So whatever the positions are there one by one, so it will move there and it will do the required operations there. So that is possible, that is created by using RT Toolbox 3. So it is easier. We can also examine its layouts also. It means sometime if it is making collisions with objects or any other robots also, that we can check. So 3D Weave is also available in this software, and this software is available in 3 versions. One is RT Toolbox 3 Mini, okay, RT Toolbox 3 and RT Toolbox 3 Pro. So in RT Toolbox 3 Pro, you will get all those facilities like integration with SolidWorks. So we can also, if you're not able to create different 2D, 3D drawings and other details. So if you are making those work in SolidWorks, directly we can get or we can integrate those work to the RT Toolbox 3. Okay, path generation from the CAD also. Okay, CAD files directly we can import and we can create a robot movement without teaching a robot. Okay, based on the CAD specifications, X, Y, Z, whatever the movement is there. So that we can read from the CAD file and we can operate the robot. And offline programming also we can do. So if you are not connected to robot, even though also you can work on the software for creating offline programming. This is called as. Okay, this software is used RT Toolbox 3. It looks like this. So there is a 3D vision also, right? This is operating panel. Using this one we can move the robot also, right? So there are modes again. You can operate the robot in online mode or in simulation mode. Online means your actual robot will work. Simulation means, so whatever the programs in the software, whatever the robot model you selected, it will move here. So okay, that is understood. On the right hand side corner there is a mode indication, simulation, online or offline. And this is a workspace. Here you will find different robot options here, like robot model is there, operation panel, then program, if you want to create program tab is there, spline is also there. I think you've heard about this spline. Spline means using as I mentioned CAD file. Using CAD file we can create predefined paths for the robot movement, that is spline. And parameters also we need to set. Of course there are different types of parameters we have to use while using robot applications, while using the robot in applications. Then monitoring, you can monitor its position also, its speed, everything. Okay, so this is it. The software looks like this. In the next session we will discuss about this software. Okay, so this is about all about the robotics. Okay, so if you have any questions, queries on this, so you can let me know.
So dear participants, if you have any query, you can ask them.
Right, so till now whatever the discussion happened, you can if you have questions you can let me know.
Or you can post your question in the chat box.
Right.
So thank you, Mr. Mustafa sir, for your great presentation. So your lecture gives us clear view about Mitsubishi Electric robot. And once again, we will meet on next session, sir. So thank you,
Okay.
participants, for attending this session, day 1, session 2, FTP. And we have posted the feedback link in the chat box. So please submit the feedback without fail. So thank you for participating in the session 2. Our session 3 will start at 2:30 p.m. Thank you all. Thank you for your participation. So thank you,
Okay.
Mustafa sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Okay. We'll see you in the next session. Yeah. Thank you.